Tim, we live in a world of like memes and sound bites, and people want an answer in 30 seconds or less. And when I am going through my apologetics journey, I often find that sometimes answers are hard to get. You can't get a good answer to the problem of evil in 30 seconds, but it's really easy for an atheist to give the problem of evil in 30 seconds or less. Like, if God exists, why does all this cancer exist? Why does all this exist? And then they can just post that on Instagram Reels, and they've debunked Christianity. What would you advise, or what advice would you give for Christians that are watching and they see this kind of content all around them? They got the 30-second soundbite of the atheist, and it's like, well, the answer can't really be given in 30 seconds. We kind of have to slow down a little bit during our research.
Yeah. I think you're raising a really important observation, and especially because all of us are on social media, or at least most of us. And so if you're on TikTok, you see a 60-second challenge to Christianity, and it's like, whoa, what do I do? What do I say to this? Of course, it's all packaged in there. And as you just expressed, it's often easier to state a challenge than to answer a challenge. What I would want people to do is, don't freak out, stay calm. And what I would want you to do is begin the process of, okay, what was the challenge here? Sometimes there's a lot of rhetoric that's kind of mixed in. And so I would want you to get a piece of paper, a pen, and just as best you can, write the challenge out. Okay, this is a challenge against God's existence or the Bible or whatever. Okay, but more specifically, okay, what about the Bible? What about God's existence? Okay, so you're trying to like refine the challenge maybe into a sentence or two. And then what I would do is try to now take that statement of what the challenge is and pose it as a question. And then I want to go search the answer to that question. Okay. And I'm going to do my best to go to maybe some of the apologetic resources that are out there. You may go to YouTube. You may have a book on your shelf that deals with that particular challenge. What I find is there's hardly anything new under the sun. Okay. And so if there's a challenge that you just witnessed on TikTok or on Instagram, likely that challenge has been asked and answered, okay, somewhere else. And so stand to reason. That's what we exist to do. We want to provide an answer to some of these tough challenges. Now, some of these challenges, like you said, they require a little bit of work. And so you may, come to our website and see, oh, here's an article, but it's 3,500 words. Okay, so you're not going to read that just maybe over a coffee. It might take you a little bit longer to read through it, but you're going to come out the other side with a more substantial answer to the challenge. Again, we're not trying to ignore challenges. We're not trying to suppress them. Go hunt down that answer. And that may take some work. Remind yourself when you see those challenges that just because you don't have the answer doesn't mean there isn't an answer. Okay. Yep. I've had young people message me. In fact, I talked to one guy from my church. He messaged me. We weren't close or anything, but he had my Facebook. He sent me a message on Messenger, and then we spoke on the phone. I said, "What's your number? I'm calling you." And basically, he was watching a video, and he said to me, these were his exact words, "Tim, I wish I had never clicked on that video." Okay, and it was a video of just an atheist giving some arguments, and it launched him into doubting his faith. Wow. And okay, so then it was like over the phone, we're like, "Okay, let's just slow down here, man. What do we know to be true? What's your foundation?" And by the way, this is the other element.
If I can solve this Rubik's Cube before you hit the like button, you have to subscribe. All right, you're gonna have to subscribe. I didn't make the rule. Okay. I might have made the rules and I might have cheated a little bit with editing or whatever, but you should still do it. It's free. Just like, subscribe. Let's get back into the video.
I think you're always going to be at the mercy of the next viral video or meme or whatever that comes across your social media when you do not have a strong foundation. What do I mean by that? If you don't have a foundation for your faith that is grounded in what is true, like evidence, facts, reasons, well, then you're just going to be tossed to and fro from every, every storm, every, whatever, TikTok video storm that you find yourself in. You need an anchor that's just, right in there. So does truth exist? Like, that's a fundamental question. If you can't answer that question, you're going to be in trouble. Does God exist? That's a fundamental question. Now, again, do I need like 100% proof? No. We don't have 100% proof of hardly anything, okay? Like mathematical proof. But we do have really good reasons to believe that God exists, okay? And so what are those? Can you state those? Do you have good reason to believe that Jesus existed, and not just existed, but like he was who he claimed to be, the Son of God? Do you have good reason to believe he rose from the dead, right? At Easter we sing, you ask me how I know he lives within my heart. There's this hymn, he lives. It's a great hymn. But it's not just that he lives within my heart that I know he lives. I know he lives, like he was resurrected, because there is good reason to believe he has been resurrected from the dead. So again, I have all that as my foundation, so that when I get a challenge, I go back in my mind and say, okay, like, is this gonna like destroy the foundation that I've built, or not? And my hope is that if your foundation is strong enough, you'll be able to withstand all kinds of challenges. And but that takes a lot of work, and this is why we do our conference, our apologetic student conference. Why? Because students need to understand this stuff, and Sunday school faith isn't going to cut it when you hop online or when you go to university. Not going to work. Bible stories and flannel graphs are good. That's where you start, but you need to understand the reasons why we believe these Bible stories, or the reasons why we believe X, Y, and Z. So, I mean, I kind of like got on my soapbox there for a minute, but that's where we need to start. By the way, that's not what our book is. Not an apologetics book. Even though it's in, like, when you go to Amazon, it says it's under the category of apologetics, but it's not actually an apologetics book. It's not like we're defending Christian doctrines or Christian beliefs. We're talking about something else. And in fact, when someone is truly deconstructing, what you'll find is apologetics likely won't help. And that's because apologetics is about reason and evidence and arguments and what's true. But if someone is in a process where they don't really care about objective truth, or don't even think objective truth can be known in that particular area, then obviously giving a apologetic is not going to work.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take a different approach. So yeah, and that's why in deconstruction world, apologetics is mocked typically, or just kind of waved away.
Hey, did you enjoy that discussion? First of all, don't forget to like and subscribe. Not enough of you do that. Also, the link to the full discussion is in the description below.